You're listening to the SmackDown RunDown on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the SmackDown RunDown here on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Yes, it is I, the one and only Nikolai, and I am joined by my co-host, Jordan Garber.
How are you doing today, Nick?
I am doing fairly well. I had a enjoyable weekend so far. We have the WWE Fastlane pay-per-view this weekend as well. And, I'm feeling pretty good. How are you doing, Jordan?
I am doing pretty good, just hanging in there, dealing with this super cold weather. It was minus 45 the other day, minus 45 degrees Celsius, so meaning that it was really cold and I have to stay warm. So, the struggle may be real for a bit, but besides that, I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, the struggle is definitely real, and I feel you over there on the cold front from where you're at in Canada. Believe me, I'm in Boston, and we're getting hit with blizzard after blizzard after blizzard every single weekend for the past 4 or 5 weeks now. And we've hit the negative side in the Fahrenheit side of things as well. So I know exactly what you're going through.
And I know what you are going through as well. I actually watched a show called The Daily Show on the HLN network, and I saw massive. The city of Boston has spent over $1 million on snow removal for all of these blizzards and all that.
It's been so bad we've had to call Washington D.C. plows, or we've had Maryland has offered help with snow removal. That's how bad just this whole New England area is getting hit.
Crazy.
But I'll tell you, it's not as crazy as WWE is right now. And after the Royal Rumble pay-per-view was such a letdown to a lot of fans, I'm certainly hoping that this Fastlane pay-per-view can actually kick things into high gear, because it is the final pay-per-view before WrestleMania, so they really need to get their motors revving for this road to WrestleMania.
Well, you look at WrestleMania, that's the big pay-per-view. You most definitely need another pay-per-view to build up to that very well. This pay-per-view is extremely important, one of the most important pay-per-views of the year, except for WrestleMania, of course, because this is the pay-per-view that is getting the fans excited for WrestleMania. If they don't provide excitement in this show, you may not see that many people watching WrestleMania, but if they put on a terrific show tonight, they're going to be in a perfect mode for WrestleMania, and everything's going to be ready to go.
And I'm on the same page with you. It is important for this company to get fans ready and prepared for WrestleMania. It's to get them hyped up. But it's kind of sad when the Royal Rumble pay-per-view prior to this one was a letdown that people wanted to cancel the network. WWE made this bold step in saying, well, hey, if you're unsatisfied with how we are moving our product and with the success of our November month, let's give February free to new subscribers. And hey, WWE Fastlane will be free for the new subscribers, and maybe this will get them back on track into keeping the network and watching WrestleMania on the WWE network. And I hope that they can deliver. I really do, because this is just, not that good of a lineup for this card. But I mean, this is not really what we're focused discussion on, but I want to get this off my chest. Like, you'll just have to tune into next week to get my thoughts on this Fastlane pay-per-view.
Oh, no, exactly. I totally know what you're referring to, and hopefully they can get those new subscribers, and they can continue to increase the number. Actually, has the number increased for the WWE Network for subscribers?
Well, in January, they announced that they have finally hit 1 million subscribers.
Okay, so that's something, because and it's hard to get a subscriber because they're paying this amount of money per month. So
Right.
if this Fastlane pay-per-view, it's going to be very interesting to see what this does for the WWE Network.
Now, Jordan, you up in Canada, I know we've discussed this many times with the delay and the problem that WWE has had with getting it. Do you now have the WWE Network?
Right now, I do not, but I'm probably going to be getting the network very soon. I just want to get the network that provides me with everything. I want to get my old pay-per-views, because if I want to watch, Backlash 2004, I can do that. But if I get it and I'm paying $14.99 and I'm in a commitment and I don't get to catch my old pay-per-views, because that's what I want it for, or I don't get to catch like NXT every Wednesday or something, I'm not going to be really happy. So I just want to make sure I should actually just start doing my research and just getting this done, pretty much.
Well, I've heard, actually read a report that there's going to be more availability for the network in Canada. You'll have to look it up, as I don't have the information in front of me right now, but with them hitting 1 million subscribers last month, and I don't know if that's just the United States or since the launch worldwide that they've hit 1 million, but they need to do a better job and get more subscribers, because they need to put on better quality pay-per-views. And I'm telling you, the network is just worth it alone for the NXT specials and the old school stuff that they have up there, and some of the specials that you will never see anywhere else but the network. So going back to Fastlane, they took a long time getting this card put together. So I don't know. I don't even know if they're ready for this final pay-per-view before the WrestleMania extravaganza.
All you can do is hope they are, because they need to do well in this pay-per-view. It's very important for the network, the company's future, and for WrestleMania.
That is true. And other ways that they can get ready for this pay-per-view were the go-home shows for Monday Night Raw and Thursday Night SmackDown. Excuse me. Let's talk SmackDown. First off, I want to throw this out there. In case you have not seen, heard about, or know about this past week's SmackDown, there were 9 matches on the whole show. For the 2 hours it was on, 9 matches on SmackDown.
That is crazy, and that's good for a show. Like, that's really incredible.
And obviously that means with it being 2 hours, each match had maybe about 5 to 7 minutes, but still, like, a lot of them were good quality matches. And the main event was on for, I'd say, at least 12 or 13, 14 minutes.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like, I thought it was a great show, and like, I like how they have all those matches, and it's nothing too long for the fans, so they don't get they don't have a long, boring match. And they paced it out really well. I liked how they had the 9 matches on the show, and they were all 5 to 7 minutes.
Now, there wasn't really anything that happened backstage to talk about. The only thing that took up time was, little video packages here and there that took us back to, certain segments that happened on Raw that led up to a SmackDown match or for the Fastlane pay-per-view. So let's talk about the matches themselves from SmackDown. First off, we had Daniel Bryan opening the show against The Miz, and he beat him in relative quick fashion, which I have no problem with. Yeah,
it was a good opener, good match. Just a match to show everyone what Daniel Bryan, that Daniel Bryan is pretty much ready for Fastlane, and it was a great opener, and quick, good match, nothing to complain about.
Yeah, Miz got in maybe a few strikes of offense, but just enough to get the heat on him and Daniel Bryan to make a quick comeback, get the yes lock applied, and make the Miz tap out.
Yeah.
So, next match we had Ryback versus Kane, sort of a rebirth of their rivalry that they had a couple months ago. And Ryback got the win with shell-shocked when it looked like he was about to get beat. He got beat up on the floor. What was it? Kane had uppercutted him off the top rope. Ryback had fallen all the way from the top rope to the floor. But when Kane brought him back in, Ryback just hit shell-shocked and got the 3 count.
Yeah, it was a quick match.
What did you think of this? Do you think, as short as this was, do you think it was as good, or on par with any of their previous matches?
I just thought it wasn't great and it wasn't bad. It was an average match in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough. After that, we had Bad News Barrett in a non-title match, as he is still the Intercontinental Champion, taking on R-Truth. Now, this was a surprising finish here. Dean Ambrose was on commentary for this match, and Barrett kept looking at Ambrose the entire time the match was going on. He was yelling at him, was just constantly getting on his case. And so Ambrose decided that he has no intention of watching Barrett's match. Now, normally when guys or girls are on commentary, they're scouting their next opponent in the ring. But Ambrose is such a lunatic that it's almost masterful on how he did this. He turned his back to the ring to talk to the commentators. And Barrett was so infuriated that Ambrose wasn't watching him that R-Truth got a schoolboy roll-up and got the 3 count over the Intercontinental Champion.
It's crazy. That's crazy. Totally. I completely agree with you and your tone of voice. That was incredible.
And R-Truth was just so excited that he got the win over Barrett. Do you think a title match would be in his future?
No. It's just one match. You can't really judge a victory off one match. I guess it was just a little thing to, I don't know, maybe in the future, but he's facing Ambrose at Fastlane, so let's just see what happens with that match first.
Well, let me throw this out there for you. Back when SmackDown was moving to Thursdays, right before that happened, Sin Cara had actually gotten the pin over Bad News Barrett, and then the following week, he got a title match. And then a few weeks later, Dean Ambrose pinned Barrett in a non-title match, and then now he's getting a title match at Fastlane.
So, yeah, I guess so. You never know. Actually, now that you put it that way, we may see R-Truth get a title match. It's not going to happen at WrestleMania, but actually, well, you never know. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
R-Truth did have a backstage segment. I believe it was on WWE.com or the WWE app. I think it was an app where he was being interviewed and he was so excited that he won in a non-title match that he actually thinks that he is in line or next in line for a title match. So we'll see where that goes because apparently you pin the Intercontinental Champion once and you get a title match.
I guess that's the way it goes nowadays.
But still, I like Dean Ambrose's version of wanting a match because he got the pin over Barrett and he wants to have his face on the wall at WWE headquarters as an Intercontinental Champion. I still love that that's the storyline they're going with.
I love that storyline, but why isn't his face is also on the wall as the United States Champion? But I guess he wants to add another face to the wall. So.
Well, nobody else has actually come up with that kind of theory. Dean Ambrose, like I said at the beginning of this topic, Dean Ambrose is such a lunatic fringe that it's almost masterful at how he does it.
I know, he's a genius at it. Did he do that with the Moxley gimmick too? He was always that kind of crazy character. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been on his own world as the way he does things. That's why I like him. He's so unique.
Very unique.
After that, we had a promo from Bray Wyatt backstage and basically said, "The angel with burning wings is waving you on home. Find me or I'll find you."
Like I said, typical and classic Bray Wyatt. Most definitely, the man knows how to deliver a promo.
I'm still skeptical that if he's going to face Undertaker, if that's where this is going, but I don't know.
I think we discussed that before, and if he's facing the Undertaker at WrestleMania, he has to go through that fact that hopefully Undertaker just doesn't break down during the match, because Undertaker is he's not in the greatest shape right now, and he's going through a lot, and after his match with Lesnar, he had to be hospitalized. So if Undertaker's prepared for that same thing to be happening after the show, hopefully he doesn't break down during the match if this happens.
There's something interesting that Stevie J pointed out in one of the news articles on AngryMarks.com, is that if that match indeed does happen, Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker, you know that both of their entrances are basically done in the darkness. Now, WrestleMania is in San Jose, California this year, the West Coast, Pacific Time, and sunset is approximately at 7:30, Pacific time, which means it would be about 10:30 Eastern. Pay-per-view usually ends at 11. So if they were to make their entrances and it's still light out, it kind of kills their whole atmosphere.
Oh yeah. That's another good thing too, is like these entrances need to be done in the dark. That's just part of their character. That's the part of the legend of Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker. They must be done in the dark. Hopefully, they figure something out. And hopefully, if that's the case, it's probably the second last match on the show and they get a good match in.
Well, like I said, I don't know if I want that match to happen. Not because of the quality of it. It's just I think Undertaker should just retire WrestleMania with that one loss and then just say, well, you know, there's really nothing much else to accomplish, because that was a almost a title in itself, the undefeated streak. And once that's over, it's over. There's no point to say, oh, well, let's have a second loss. I mean, I went through this rant last week, but, you know, I just want to reiterate that I'm skeptical of this.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, getting back on track, we had a tag team match next on SmackDown. Was The New Day versus The Ascension. Now, it was only Xavier Woods and Big E that competed in the match, as Kofi was just outside the ring. And The Ascension got the win over The New Day. I mean, they actually had a competitive match here. It was a little longer than normal, and The Ascension got the win over Big E.
They did, actually, and it kind of thinks that The New Day was kind of a waste, because they're not really that relevant or popular anymore, and it wasn't long ago when they debuted.
Exactly. It's almost sad, and I feel disappointed because they could have maybe done something with it, but with all the hype that they gave The New Day, and they're practically jobbers right now. I mean, you look at the caliber of Kofi Kingston and how many championships he's won, how many main events he's been in, and he's in a jobber stable. And I hate to say that, because both Kingston and Big E, they're former Intercontinental champions. Xavier Woods still has a future in this company. They all do, actually. They all still have a future in this company, but it's like right now they're just stale.
It's bad. And like Xavier Woods has a great future in the company. All of them do. And I just think they all need singles runs. I just think that's it. I don't think they should be a stable.
Now, I like this stable. I just think they need to be more serious. They
Yeah.
need more aggression.
They need more aggression, and they're just doing this. They're just doing this whole New Day stable just for the PG audience and to have the kids someone to look up to. That's all they're doing this for.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my opinion. That's what I'm thinking.
No, that's a good point. When you say something for the kids to look up to and stay positive, that's a good point.
And but kids nowadays, kids in this generation are kind of obviously our generations have changed. So a lot of kids, I guess what the WWE is trying to do is, because when kids watch media and they watch television, they want to be those people they see on television. They want to be those people they see on the media. So the WWE is hoping that when the kids see the New Day, they want to say, "Oh, these people are cool. I want to be just like them." Instead, instead of them watching, I don't know, Scarface and saying, "Oh, I want to be Al Pacino," they'd rather, I don't know. That's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to make the kids look up to the New Day and be cool from it and have that positive mindset.
But yeah, maybe one way you can get the New Day as inspirational is maybe give them a run at the tag team titles. Give them something to do there, and say, with positivity you can achieve a dream of your, something like that.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right. Well, anyways, I guess we're overlooking the fact that the Ascension won the match, and hoorah for them. Obviously, we don't care enough to talk about the Ascension. We'd rather talk about the New Day.
Yeah, exactly. The Ascension, we'll see what happens with them. They're still new, so I just want to give them a bit of time to see what's going on.
I always looked at the Ascension as an NXT tag team and not for the main roster. I never saw this going over on WWE programming. I think they'd be, maybe it's the face paint and the spiked shoulder pads that's throwing me off.
Yeah, it's just too much of a Legion of Doom ripoff.
Yeah. And even JBL's calling it that.
I don't know. It's just Bruce. Okay, what I've learned from other shows, and from other people involved in the wrestling business, and even some legends in the wrestling business, is that you got to be original. You got to have your own gimmick. You can't try to be the next somebody else. You want to be yourself and get as far as you can with yourself. Create something unique about you that stands out from everyone else. And the Ascension just isn't doing that right now.
They were more over in NXT, and when they came to WWE, they added the face paint on the eyes, and I don't know, it's like we already have the Usos that have the face paint over half their faces on the opposite sides of each other's faces, and that's what the Ascension is doing right now too. And I'm not saying they're ripping off the Usos, but it's just, we already have that, and if they would just do without that, I think they'd be, I don't know. They need more wrestling matches because all they do is just brawl, and I want to see more out of them, like an NXT caliber match, although they are two different animals.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Who do you think is going to get called up next to NXT, by the way?
Either Kalisto or Adrian Neville.
That would be really cool to see either of them on the main roster, and it's probably going to happen. So
yeah.
I reminds me of Rey Mysterio.
He's Rey Mysterio in his prime and then some.
Yeah, Kalisto is the next Rey Mysterio.
I think Kalisto was on Main Event, the taping this past week, and he was with Sin Cara, so I think it was the whole Lucha Dragons gimmick on a Main Event.
I think it was, because I saw that match. I forgot who it was against, because it was on a Saturday before I went to work, but I saw it on Main Event. And I think it was the Lucha Dragons. I just forgot who they were facing. Yeah,
unfortunately, the U.S. version of WWE Network, it used to air on Tuesday nights live on the network, but ever since the network went live in the UK, they couldn't air it in the U.S. anymore because it airs on UK television. So now they air the Main Event episode 2 weeks later on a Saturday. So on this weekend, we had the episode from February 3rd. So it's like 2.5 weeks later they can air it on the network. So since Lucha Dragons had a match on Main Event earlier this week, we won't see that for another 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
It's weird, but yeah, I mean that the network is known for that. They can't air Monday Night Raw or SmackDown until 1 month or 4 weeks later from its original airing because it airs on television. So I understand that because you don't want your viewership to go down if it airs on the network at the same time. I mean, that would hurt USA and Sci-Fi and whatever other international channels there are. You don't want to hurt those cable companies in their ratings. So I can understand airing the episode later in the month.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the way things are.
Yeah, I guess it's just the way it is.
But I can tell you, the way Roman Reigns is, he looks like he is ready for Fastlane because he had a really good match with Luke Harper on SmackDown. And this was probably the first real competitive match of the show. And I'm not saying the other ones weren't, but this one had a hot finish on it. Everything else was kind of predictable, but when you get to Luke Harper and Roman Reigns, you just know Roman Reigns was going to win, but it happened so quickly.
Fight, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, Roman Reigns hit the Samoan drop, Luke Harper super kicked him, and then Reigns just bounced off the ropes and hit a spear for the 3 count, and he's ready for Fastlane.
I know you're bringing up Roman Reigns, and of course, most definitely he is ready for Fastlane. Someone like Luke Harper is a great example of somebody who has been created an original gimmick for himself and made himself stand out from everybody. Maybe you've seen similar gimmicks to Luke Harper, but the gimmick, the man's crazy. You guys see his eyes. The man's intense. And that is an example of a gimmick WWE did to make him stand out from everyone else. Everyone's going to remember Luke Harper. And, of course, everyone's going to remember Roman Reigns. Let's just see what happens at the Fastlane pay-per-view when he goes head-to-head with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, getting back to that Luke Harper point you were making, I mean, it really is original. I mean, he's being compared to Bruiser Brody, and it's funny because Luke Harper's former name was Brody Lee, which, it might have been an illusion, but Luke Harper's gimmick is really, really so original. I mean, the crazy eyes, the wild hair, the long beard, the
stain
stained
on his shirt.
t-shirt, the jeans, the bandana on his wrist and in his back pocket. I mean, is such an original look, and it's like he just looks so sloppy, yet he's a really fantastic wrestler. He had the show-stealing match at TLC in that ladder match with Dolph Ziggler. He's had many, many other great matches with other superstars. He was in the main event of Survivor Series. I mean, this guy is to me, like you said, an original gimmick of his own.
That's a good thing, and that's always what I love to see.
Now, his former tag team partner, Eric Rowan, I think he has his own niche too. I mean, wearing the long suit and the sheet mask and that bald head and big red beard. He had a match next against Big Show, and he had no offense whatsoever in that match.
Big Show completely dominated Eric Rowan in that match, most definitely.
Even before the match started, Big Show attacked him. He threw him into the steel steps, the ring post. The referee finally started the match when they were in the ring. Big Show punched him, kicked him, slammed him, choke slammed him, and that was it.
Wow. Just quick match, kind of like a, what's it called again? I'm struggling here. I guess just a quick match, jobber. The kind of job they were throwing in that situation.
It was basically a squash match.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, how could I forget that? Wow.
I thought that's where you were going.
I knew that was where I was going, and it's like I'm 19 and I'm like just involved in the business. I don't even know I just totally forgot what a squash match is. So, wow, that's crazy. I know what it is though. I just jogged my memory again, but yeah, it's pretty much just a squash match.
Yeah, that's not what I would have expected out of these two. I mean, maybe if you flip the script, maybe if it was Big Show versus R-Truth in this match, then I could understand that being a squash match. Maybe if Eric Rowan got the win over Wade Barrett, that would have been more of an upset. If you had flipped those, they kind of make more sense. But, here it's like, wow, Big Show just squashed Eric Rowan. I mean, this guy is huge.
You notice though the Big Show's getting slower in his matches though.
Well, he's always had that nickname Big Slow, so it's no surprise.
But Big Show, of course, is most definitely a legend in the business. He debuted on WCW, won the World Championship on its first night, and he's still going, he's still going strong. He just, a few times, but that's for everyone, right? Everyone has their downside once in a while, but Big Show is still performing at a good level. And how old is he? He must be over 40. He's definitely over 40 years old right now.
He's 43.
43, so you never know. Maybe Kane's 47 or 48, isn't he? So you might see maybe 5 years left from the Big Show. You never know.
Yeah, I think Kane is 47, if I remember. But yeah, I mean, these guys can still go.
Kane's 47 and he's choke slamming people, so just picturing that is amazing.
Oh yeah, and the longevity that these guys have had is incredible.
They're going to be in the Hall of Fame most definitely.
Oh yeah, no question about that. Next we had Cameron versus Paige, which this was basically Paige's warm-up match for the Fastlane pay-per-view, as she will take on Nikki Bella for the Divas Championship. And of course, the Bella Twins were on commentary for this match, and honestly, I was not paying attention to them. I was just paying attention to the match. Paige won with the PTO, the Paige tap-out submission. Bam, quick win. Paige is ready for Fastlane.
Paige is ready for Fastlane, like you said, a quick warm-up match. Is it just me, or is Paige the most beautiful woman on the roster?
I would have to say Nikki Bella. I love her curves.
She has nice curves, but Paige is absolutely smoking. And she is a great wrestler. And Definitely. She's one of those women who's not just smoking hot, but she's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Paige, man, her future's, the sky's the limit for her.
Paige is definitely beautiful. I'd say she's the best and hottest English wrestler WWE has had. Female wrestler, I should say.
probably the hottest English wrestler, not just in WWE, but around the world. She's amazing. I'm a Paige fan. I honestly, when I've watched wrestling, I've watched it critically at times, but I've never felt like such a fan while watching Paige wrestle. She makes me mark out.
I will say this though, but it's amazing and incredible that, she's so young. She's only 22 years old, and she has more wrestling capabilities than a lot of these divas right now that are, in their late 20s or early 30s.
Oh, by far. Because she's learned. She's learned from the wrestling scene in England. She's learned about all of that. She's been trained phenomenally down in England. She made a name for herself down in England, and she's getting better and better each show. Hey,
she was in a match even as a fetus. Her mom was pregnant with her when she was in a wrestling.
Really?
That's saying something. Like, her mom is a wrestler, and she had a match while she was pregnant with Paige.
Hey, maybe that could count as Paige's first appearance.
Yeah.
Technically, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Speaking of wrestling families, the Usos are getting ready to defend their tag team titles against Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. So on SmackDown, Jimmy Uso had a one-on-one match with Tyson Kidd, and these two have huge wrestling backgrounds as well, just like we were talking about with Paige. And this match really didn't get too far underway because the United States champion Rusev came down to the ring and destroyed everybody. Well, I can't say everybody because Cesaro managed to escape the attack, but Rusev did go after Jimmy and Jay and even Tyson Kidd.
No, he was angry. I guess he didn't have his steak.
Well, he was definitely angry. He was shouting in the microphone in his language, and the only thing that I got out of it and that Jerry the King Lawler got out of it was John Cena. And of course, he's going to defend his United States Championship against John Cena at Fastlane. So, you think Rusev's ready?
I think Rusev's ready. Well, he just kicked like a bunch of people's head off, so I think he's ready. And then he just screamed into a microphone in Russian, and just the only thing we could understand was John Cena. So I guess the only people that would understand it is the people in Russia, and hopefully they have the WWE Network because they can still get it for $9.99. And, of course, people from Russia as well can listen to the SmackDown RunDown on AngryMarks.com, so don't forget that.
That's right. We are international.
Everyone around the world can listen to the SmackDown RunDown on AngryMarks.com.
Indeed. So, everybody who is listening to the SmackDown Rundown, we will be discussing the main event of SmackDown, the 9th match of the night. Incredible for a 2-hour show.
For sure.
Dolph Ziggler versus Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins. J&J Security were banned from ringside. But that didn't mean Kane and Big Show were banned. And they came out...
They always play those little tricks with you. They always say J&J Security's banned from ringside. But it's frustrating because after J&J Security's banned from ringside, you just see Kane and the Big Show running. Their Big Show's big body just running, and then Kane running, and it's like, oh no, it's like shit.
Yeah. I was watching this match, and when it went to commercial break, I had my WWE app open. Yes, folks, I do still have that. And during the break, Kane and Big Show decided to stroll on down the ringside and give Seth Rollins, some moral support. And of course, Ryback and Eric Rowan came down to do the same for Dolph Ziggler and basically even the sides up.
Yeah.
So, who cares? J&J was barred from ringside. So let's get the two bigger guys at ringside. And then
exactly.
Two more big guys at ringside.
It's silly. That's the fun part about wrestling, though, is it's silly.
Yeah. So everybody was so worried about J&J, and then now you come these two giants down to the ring. I think that's an upgrade. But anyways, I can understand some frustrations that people have with Seth Rollins. A lot of people I've talked to do not like Seth Rollins. And I mean legit don't like Seth Rollins. Not kayfabe. they really don't like him. And one of the guys I was talking to, one of my buddies, was saying he doesn't like him because he has not won one match clean in WWE. And I had to stop and think about that. But that's pretty damn near true. The whole time he was with the Shield, he's been in a lot of six-man tag matches. The singles match he's had, the Shield were at ringside. And when he disbanded the Shield, he was on Triple H's team and the Authority, and he's had them having his back this whole time. So when you look at it, he's always had J&J Security on his side. He's had Kane helping him for a year. And then now you got Big Show added to the mix. And this match was no different. I mean, you had J&J barred from ringside, which we've discussed over and over, and that didn't change anything. I'm thinking, well, finally we're going to get a one-on-one match. But then you got Kane and Big Show lumbering down to the ring, and this match was no different than the others. Ziggler was on a hot streak, of course. He hit the Famouser, got a near fall out of that. Rollins came back with the buckle bomb, but that was after Kane had gotten up on the ring apron to distract Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going back to Seth Rollins, and it's kind of true. He actually hasn't won a match without help from somebody else. So his fans should put that in mind.
Right. I mean, you're going to see an asterisk after every Rollins W that he earns in a match. Because, I mean, Kane didn't physically get involved. He didn't touch anybody. He just got up on the apron and distracted Dolph Ziggler just enough for Seth Rollins to hit the buckle bomb, hit the curb stomp, and get the 3 count.
Another win, a controversial win for Seth Rollins.
Indeed. Well, the show wasn't over there.
Let's not talk about the finish as well. Why don't you talk about what happened after the match?
That's right. I mean, the show didn't end right there. No. Big Show, Kane, and J&J Security all met up at the ramp and celebrated Rollins' win. They congratulated him, and instead of walking away, they could have just walked away. They decided that they have a 5-on-3 advantage. Technically, 5-on-2 because Dolph Ziggler was down and out for the whole time. And they went back to the ring to get the drop on Eric Rowan and Ryback. They outnumbered them. Big Show Big Show and Kane chokeslammed Eric Rowan, and Rollins gave him the curb stomp. Ryback thought he had a little fight left in him, but he too got destroyed. KO punch, curb stomp, done for Ryback.
For sure. Seth Rollins, once again, proving that he is the future of the WWE, despite what some people think, besides getting his matches won cleanly. So it should be really interesting to see what Seth Rollins' future with that Money in the Bank briefcase is.
Oh, I know. I've been wondering that myself. But I could tell you, Seth Rollins' future is at Fastlane. Because rumored to happen, and may be true, is Seth Rollins, Kane, and Big Show versus Ziggler, Rowan, and Ryback.
You never know what could happen here in the WWE.
Indeed. Final thoughts on SmackDown and Fastlane pay-per-view on the road to WrestleMania. Give me your final thoughts, Jordan.
I thought it was a great show. They had 9 matches. None of the matches were too long. The main event was good. It was really entertaining. All around great show, extremely entertaining. I loved it. What about you? What did you think?
SmackDown delivered, and it was a wrestling show. It had 9 matches. All of it had a good story to tell. Everything flowed nicely. The main event had good time on it, and even the post-main event scuffle that happened was vital. It was important for the Authority to establish dominance. And, I can't wait to see what happens at Fastlane, whether you're listening to this the day after or whatever. Fastlane should be an important part of the road to WrestleMania. It should be vital. I mean, I wonder, I can't wait to find out what happens with Sting and Triple H. What happens on Monday? That's the big question. What happens after the confrontation? Will we see them have a match at WrestleMania? Will we get any answers out of that? Who's going to be the number one contender for the World Heavyweight title? We shall see.
We shall see indeed.
So, Jordan, do you have any last words before we close out the show?
Great news, guys. JGW with AJ Styles, former TNA World Champion, current IWGP Champion, as well as, and I say that in capital words, as well as Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. A 2-in-1 show. Incredible. 2 interviews in one show, 2 short interviews, now available on AngryMarks.com. That is going to be fantastic. If you thought it was good, then we add more. Another JGW episode with none other than Frankie Kazarian, former TNA X Division champion, up on AngryMarks.com as well. I think it's safe to say I delivered on by bringing those names on, and it was awesome to do so. Besides JGW, which you guys need to tune into because it's awesome, follow me on Twitter at Jordan J. Garber. Thursday night AMP every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central on AngryMarks.com. Check that out. And, of course, like I said, follow me on Twitter at Jordan J. Garber. And, of course, check out the SmackDown RunDown every week on AngryMarks.com.
Indeed. So make sure you tune in to Jordan Garber's World and check out those interviews with AJ Styles, Scott Steiner, and Frankie Kazarian. They are currently up on AngryMarks.com, so get a chance to check out those interviews, and also check out the other podcasts on AngryMarks.com. Obviously the Raw Reaction every Monday. They discuss what happened on Raw, just like we discuss what happened on SmackDown here on the SmackDown Rundown. You also have all those other great shows on Angry Marks Podcast Network, the Undisputed Wrestling Show every Tuesday night, Glove Up or Shut Up for your mixed martial arts needs, and of course, the flagship show, the Angry Marks Podcast, the Thursday night Angry Marks Podcast with Stevie J and my very own co-host Jordan Garber.
For sure. Future for Jordan Garber is bright. The future for the SmackDown Rundown is bright. And, of course, the future for AngryMarks.com is extremely bright and is looking really well towards the future.
So if you want to get in touch with us, give us your feedback and thoughts on SmackDown as a whole or anything else that we have brought up. Make sure you hit us up on Twitter at Nikolai and at Jordan J. Garber. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the SmackDown Rundown. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you enjoy Fastlane, and we hope you tune in again when we return next time.